Manhattan Serenade, The Lost Diary. His grandfather's secrets lay hidden in a diary he found. Unlocking the past could ignite their future, or burn it all down. What destiny connects these two souls? Within the venerable hush of the New York City Antiquarian Library, Anya Sharma moved like a phantom limb of the institution itself, the scent of decaying paper and beeswax a constant, almost sacred incense. Her existence was a meticulously indexed narrative among towering shelves of forgotten lore, a fortress built against the unpredictable cacophony beyond the imposing oak doors. Yet, deep within this ordered sanctuary, an unvoiced symphony of longing played out, a yearning for a connection as tangible and profound as the brittle manuscripts she so carefully preserved. From her arched window perch overlooking Bryant Park, the city pulsed, a vibrant, chaotic ballet of intersecting lives she observed with the detached fascination of a scholar studying a beautiful, yet potentially dangerous, foreign text. A world away from her controlled reality inside the silent, echoing halls filled with history's whispers and the weight of accumulated knowledge over centuries past. Meanwhile, Julian Vance commanded the pavement outside, his saxophone not just playing notes but bleeding soul onto the indifferent concrete. His music was an urban lament, a raw fusion of improvisational jazz and bluesy introspection that captured the city's fleeting beauty and profound undercurrent of isolation. Small crowds would gather, drawn by the sheer, unvarnished honesty of his sound, his eyes scanning faces as if searching for a specific resonance, an unspoken answer to a question his melodies posed. Anya often found herself arrested by the sound drifting upwards, a bittersweet invasion of her curated silence, the music a vibrant counterpoint to the library's sepulchral calm. He was an ephemeral landmark, a paradox of presence and transience, his art a fleeting graffiti of sound dissolving into the city's relentless rhythm, a poignant reminder of connections missed or momentarily grasped in the vast urban machinery, humming all around them constantly. Fate, disguised as a mundane Tuesday downpour, nudged Anya towards discovery. Sorting through anonymous donations, the library's flotsam and jetsam, her gloved fingers snagged on a small, unassuming leather-bound journal nestled beneath outdated reference books. Its cover, worn smooth as river stone, held pages yellowed like old ivory, filled with a passionate looping script. Secreting it away to her quiet alcove during lunch, she opened it with a tremor of anticipation. It wasn't just a diary, it was a soul laid bare in ink, chronicling an intense love affair with the city's spirit and an unnamed muse through raw poetry and visceral observations of life unfolding in parks, jazz clubs, and shadowed alleyways. The words struck Anya with the force of unexpected intimacy, echoing the contours of her own carefully guarded inner landscape, a sudden jolt of recognition across time and anonymity that felt almost preordained by some unseen force guiding her hand that day. The anonymous author's vulnerability was a mirror reflecting Anya's own sequestered heart. They painted New York not just with descriptions, but with palpable emotion. The specific melancholy of watching first snow blanket Washington Square, the electric thrill of stumbling upon a hidden West Village bookstore, the hushed conspiracy of secrets shared on a fire escape beneath a tapestry of indifferent stars. Each entry vibrated with a life lived intensely, a love affair with existence itself. Anya felt an almost illicit connection, a visceral pull towards this kindred spirit who articulated feelings she herself barely dared to acknowledge. The diary became her secret confidant, carried close, its pages revisited in stolen moments, the author's voice a comforting yet unsettling echo from the past, challenging the carefully constructed walls around her own heart, and urging her towards an emotional honesty she had long avoided for fear of its inherent risks and potential pains. Julian's saxophone became the unwitting score to Anya's deepening immersion in the diary. Its melodies seemed to uncannily track the author's emotional shifts, soaring with joy, plunging into melancholic depths. Then one rain-lashed afternoon, seeking refuge, Julian burst into the library's echoing marble foyer, shaking droplets from his worn coat like a storm-tossed bird. His eyes met Anya's across the cavernous space. She stood frozen, clutching her bag containing the diary almost protectively. He offered a hesitant rain-dampened smile, a silent acknowledgement that shattered the library's usual monastic quiet. The sudden, vibrant intrusion of his presence felt both jarring and magnetic, the lingering ghost of his music hanging in the air, a stark, living contrast to the preserved silence she inhabited daily. A moment charged with unspoken potential, and the weight of her hidden discovery. Wicked weather for earning a living out there, Julian observed, his voice softer than his music, but possessing the same resonant warmth that Anya found simultaneously captivating and unnerving. She offered a curt, shy nod, instinctively tightening her grip on her bag. The rain certainly discourages lingering. He paused, his gaze sweeping the ornate lobby with genuine curiosity. Feels like another world in here. So preserved. A spark of defensiveness ignited in Anya, that it holds different kinds of life. She countered, her voice barely above a whisper yet firm. Countless stories breathing quietly. A flicker of deeper interest lit his eyes, intrigued by her quiet intensity. That brief exchange wasn't just small talk. It was the first thread woven between his world of ephemeral sound and her realm of enduring text. A fragile bridge across their disparate realities, unexpectedly formed by chance. That initial spark caught flame. Julian began fabricating reasons to frequent the library's periphery, asking for complex directions, inquiring about obscure city lore, seeking brief shelter. Each visit, however brief, orbited towards Anya, drawing them into tentative, exploratory conversations. She found herself anticipating these disruptions, small bursts of unpredictable warmth, in her meticulously scheduled existence. He spoke of the nomadic pull of music, his search for authentic moments, his fascination with the city's layered past. Anya, slowly, cautiously reciprocated, sharing glimpses of her work's quiet satisfaction. The puzzle of piecing together fragmented histories. But the diary remained her closely guarded secret, a truth too intimate and potentially explosive to share with this charming enigma, whose presence was becoming increasingly significant, a silent weight between them during their growing interactions. Immersed in the diary, specific details began to resonate with unsettling frequency. Vivid descriptions of particular village street corners, nostalgic mentions of long-shuttered cafes, references to jazz standards from a bygone era. One entry painted a particularly evocative picture of a smoky Greenwich Village haunt, where the author felt utterly alive, captivated by a saxophonist who played pure, unadulterated soul. The phrasing echoed Julian's style with an eerie precision. An improbable, thrilling suspicion began to bloom in Anya's mind. Could the connection be real? It felt like literary fantasy, yet the parallels accumulated, weaving a tangible thread between the faded ink and the vibrant musician, whose intrusions now felt less like chance encounters and more like destiny's deliberate choreography, pulling her towards a truth she both desired and feared uncovering in equal measure. The puzzle piece clicked into place one crisp afternoon when Julian spoke of his lineage, that my grandfather, he was the real artist. He confessed, a note of wistful admiration coloring his tone. Played sax all over the village back then. Heard he wrote things down too, poems and stuff, but kept it private. Anya felt a physical jolt, the air leaving her lungs. A saxophonist, a writer. The convergence was too potent to dismiss as mere coincidence. The urge to reveal the diary, to ask the burning question, warred fiercely with a paralyzing fear. His grandfather's intimate thoughts? How would he react to her intrusion? The diary felt like a sacred trust, and exposing it felt like a potential betrayal, tangling her burgeoning feelings for Julian in a complex web of ethical dilemma, and the terrifying possibility of shattering his family narrative, a heavy secret indeed. This possibility became a constant hum beneath their interactions, coloring Anya's perception. Was Julian's easy charm authentic, or did he somehow sense her secret, playing a calculated role? Attraction wrestled with suspicion. She began to subtly steer conversations towards his family history, probing his knowledge of specific jazz eras and venues. Julian responded with an unguarded openness, sharing anecdotes about his grandfather's passionate nature, his deep love for the city, and a complex relationship with Julian's grandmother, seemingly oblivious to her hidden investigation. Each detail aligned disturbingly well with the diary's narrative, Yet the final step, the revelation, remained terrifyingly elusive. The diary's intimacy felt sacrosanct, the fear of disrupting Julian's world, or facing the crushing weight of being wrong, kept her silent, preserving their fragile connection while simultaneously burdening it. Despite the unspoken tension, their bond deepened, finding root in shared vulnerability rather than revealed secrets. Coffee after her shifts became a ritual, explorations of the city's hidden pockets, often places Anya recognized from the diary, a shared adventure. Julian, delighted by her willingness to explore, shed layers of his performer's persona, revealing a man searching for anchorage. His laughter chipped away at Anya's reserve. He spoke of rootlessness, music as a transient connection. She, in turn, confessed the library was both haven and gilded cage, her fear of the world's messy unpredictability. In these moments of raw honesty, the archivist and the musician found common ground, a quiet understanding blossoming amidst the city's relentless pace. Two solitary souls discovering a tentative harmony, a shared rhythm against the urban backdrop, finding unexpected solace in each other's company. The diary yielded its final, crucial clue, a lyrical description of a unique melody heard at the Blue Note's embrace. The cherished village club, the author called it a fusion of sorrow and devotion, played on a saxophone, even noting a specific date decades prior. The Blue Note still thrived, a hallowed ground of jazz history. An idea, audacious and fraught with risk, crystallized in Anya's mind. The uncertainty was unbearable. She needed the truth, even if it meant fracturing the delicate connection she and Julian had painstakingly built. One crisp autumn evening, heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs, she asked Julian to accompany her, masking her true motive as a desire to soak in living history, taking a terrifying leap towards potential heartbreak or profound revelation. A gamble for authenticity. Intrigued by Anya's uncharacteristic boldness, Julian readily agreed. Stepping into the Blue Note's embrace felt like entering a time capsule, the air thick with decades of smoke, spilled bourbon, and legendary riffs. They secured a small table near the stage as a veteran quartet took their places. Anya's gaze swept the dimly lit room, half expecting a ghost from the diary to materialize. Then the saxophonist stepped into the spotlight for a solo. He raised his horn, and the notes began to flow, a melody slow, haunting, achingly familiar. It was the song, the lament and love song intertwined, exactly as described in the faded ink. Anya's eyes flew to Julian. His were wide, a storm of recognition, sorrow, and dawning comprehension mirroring her own shock. The music itself acting as an undeniable conduit across the years, bridging past and present in that sacred space. As the last haunting note dissolved into applause, Julian turned to Anya, his voice thick with barely contained emotion. "That melody," he whispered, "the sound raw, that my grandfather wrote that. For my grandmother, he documented everything in journals he kept." Anya felt the world tilt. With trembling hands, she slowly retrieved the small, worn leather diary from her bag and placed it gently on the table between them. Julian stared, first at the object, then into her eyes, the final pieces clicking into place with blinding clarity. He hadn't known this specific journal survived. His grandfather, passionate yet intensely private. Seeing it now, presented by Anya, felt like receiving a direct, intimate message from the past, delivered by the quiet archivist who had unknowingly become the guardian of his family's most profound secrets, a destiny fulfilled. The shared revelation wasn't a rupture but a profound fusion. The diary, once Anya's secret obsession and Julian's lost heritage, became a living bridge, connecting their present to a legacy of enduring love, resonant music, and the city's undying soul. For Julian, it offered an anchor, a sense of belonging he hadn't known he craved, solidified by Anya's quiet strength. For Anya, the diary's passion and Julian's vibrant authenticity became her catalysts, emboldening her to finally step beyond the library's protective shadows and embrace life's unpredictable, beautiful symphony. Hand in hand, they walked out of the legendary club into the electric embrace of the New York night, the echoes of the past harmonizing perfectly with the hopeful, burgeoning rhythm of their shared future. Their own unique verse, just beginning in the city's endless, unfolding poem under the vast, watchful sky.